Okay, I'll give everybody a minute to hop on the onlines.
Damn, I hate that I told you I wasn't gonna be here. I got confused.
That's okay. Yeah, I will be here today, obviously, and I'll be here Thursday.
Cool.
And then I won't be here for a while. So I'm taking some time off. I'm going back down to Central America. I'm going to go back to Costa Rica.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do when you go down there?
So
just relax and stuff, or are you doing some kind of work?
All of that. Yeah. So the first week there's a festival that I am able to go to. So it's like yoga and music and a lot of like stuff like that. And
now,
then
do you have friends down there? Or are you?
I will both.
Yeah.
All of it. Yes.
Okay. That
and then
sounds so
yeah.
fun.
And then
Costa Rica.
I'm excited. And then the second week that I'm there, I'm going to stay on a farm in the jungle. So it's a permaculture farm, and they grow turmeric, they grow cacao, and a bunch of other stuff. And so I will be staying in the jungle and working on a farm and living on it with the land, and I'm excited. A friend of mine came across it, so I'm going to hold a cacao ceremony while I'm there on the land. I'm really excited and grateful for that.
All right, for the
Morning, y'all.
what is cacao?
Cacao is the pure form of chocolate.
Oh,
And it's been minimally processed, so it has a lot of medicinal properties for the body, for the mind, and the spirit. It's a heart medicine, so it tends to connect us with the ancient wisdom of earth and love, and it has a lot of healing properties to it, so we can like work through a lot of traumas.
You're going to be able to share a lot of what you experienced.
Oh yeah,
there?
for sure,
Cool.
for sure.
And I hear they have really good leather down there, so if you see any good shoes,
Oh.
size 13.
Gotcha,
or
yeah.
14.
Because I'm sure I'll have room in my luggage for shoes.
Just one pair.
I have room in my own luggage for my own shoes.
What's the subject today?
I don't know.
What's the topic?
I don't know. I just got here. I don't know.
You're supposed to,
Be prepared.
She's our leader. She can do whatever she wants. That's the trend these days. The leader.
The
do whatever
leader.
they want.
I don't lead anything. I don't lead squat. That's what I know. I don't lead squat. I'll guide all day long, but I'm not leading shit.
Go.
If we can make sure that our phones are on the silent position, I would appreciate that immensely.
Always
Good
leave mine in
morning.
my call.
Nice.
I want to say something on that.
On the phones?
That last chord, not that phone,
Okay.
but you talking about you don't believe. No, you led me to believe that if I want love in this world, I gotta be loved. So guess what led me to believe that, Jane?
She guided and you follow.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
No,
I just show a
no,
way. I just show
no.
a way.
I don't lead either. People just follow me
Think
for
about
no reason.
that conversation that you had with the other person, because you know.
Well, let's not bring that
All
up.
right, just fine. But I'm just what I'm saying though. You know, it starts with you, and she made me believe that it starts with me. So I let myself just believe that if I want, it's like we had that conversation about love in the world. You know what I mean? Hey, this lady gave me $100 to write "The World Is Saved," right? And she gave me $100 because she said, I said,
Gained it or just another?
no, this was just like this lady was just out.
I
I was at the 7-Eleven sitting down, and I was like waiting for the rain to just wash me down. And then, you know, this lady said, look, I've been sitting watching you for a minute. And she wasn't one of these, you know, churchy people or nothing like that. She said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to save the world. She told me to write this and put your name to it. The world is saved. Yeah, put it in first. You know, instead of just believing that, you know, the world is struggling. No, believe that the world is saved.
Right. Plus, it makes a much more fun world to live in. That's for sure.
For sure.
So, well, would you be willing to slide that door shut?
Absolutely.
Thanks. It's got to hit that little track on the bottom. It's got to, yeah, thanks. Keep a little
Team
bit,
effort.
I know, I love that. So good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Buenos dias, mi amigos and amigas.
It's the yoke, okay?
Yeah, that's all my Espanol that I know. I really wanted to have been brushing up on it, and alas, I have not been. So I'm gonna do my best. But so this is Body, Mind, Spirit, and I'm Jane. And I am really grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful that y'all are here with me. I feel like something looks different back there. There used to be like a poster or something?
Well, that door usually is open.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
But still, it still looks, I don't know, it looks, maybe,
Looks
I don't
different.
know. Yeah, it does to me. Y'all ever do that? Like see something and all of a sudden it looks different,
Oh, yeah.
but it's been the same thing. You ever do that with a word? I was creating a flyer. I'm co-leading a silent retreat in April. And so I'm like making the graphic for it, and it says silent retreat. And over the few minutes of looking at the word silent, I thought it was spelled wrong. And so I was like, how do you spell silent?
I
And
know.
my housemate was,
all the time.
yeah, my housemate tells me, I'm like, okay, that's what I have on there. But I like looked at it so long that it looked weird. Or maybe I've seen something and all of a sudden it's like, is that different? Am I seeing something new for the first time? And it's like, no, it's the same thing you've been looking at the whole damn time.
I had a vintage drink in my room. I don't know if it was the medication I was taking, or if I was just tired, and I had to look away because I was scared I was gonna get. But anyway, I started looking at it, and I essentially looked into the print,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I could see other things that were on the other. I don't normally have experiences like that, but I wanted to just keep looking to see but I looked away because I was afraid people would come find me and I'd be like in this trance, and like, what's wrong with you?
Right?
But yeah, that was kind of.
Oh, that's
Well, have
funny.
you ever thought with spell check? Now, because we have spell check, I freaking can't even remember how to spell certain
Right,
things.
because it's doing it for us.
Because
Doing
it's doing
fun.
it for
Oh,
us.
I love spell check. I've never been able to
Yeah.
spell
Con
before.
science. I bet this is spelled con science.
I know.
Nah, this
The
is
words. It's so interesting. So I kind of want to take this concept and dive in with it because it'll be fun. But before I do, if we could all just take a deep breath in, just let it go. Do another big full breath in and just relax it out. Third breath in, welcome your presence. As you exhale, just welcome in a state of surrender, a state of peace, a state of safety, a state of trust, a state of awareness that the present moment is the only thing that's happening, the only thing that's real. Don't need to think about anything before this now or after this now. Just land squarely into this now moment.
Mhm.
Feel your body, the weight of your body. Feel the way your breath flows in and out. Feel the lightness of your spirit, the clarity of your mind, the openness of your heart. Together, we'll take another breath in and let it go. Was that the first deep breath y'all have taken today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it? Something that we see so often, we experience so often, that it becomes new when we do it again or see it again, almost like for the first time. Like a word, like that corner, like your painting, your print. You know, how every now moment we have this opportunity to see something in a totally new light, in a totally new way. And sometimes we don't even think about it, just kind of like sneaks up on us and we're like, what's this word? Silent? That looks weird. Is there supposed to be a C in that? I don't know. You know, is there, I don't know, right? So when I think about that, just seeing something new that maybe we've seen our whole life. And I like to start with a body. Like we've seen ourselves our whole life, right? Like you've seen yourself your whole life. And I don't know about you, but like sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, I never noticed that I had a gray patch. Hey, you know? And I'm like, where did that even come from? It's been there. It didn't just pop up overnight. You know, sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, wow, I thought I felt better, but my pants are really tight. Cool, you know? So we see ourselves all the time that we don't even notice how much we're changing. And we don't see ourselves in any other way other than the way we're seeing ourselves right now. Unless we have like body dysmorphia, right? Or something like that, where we see ourselves as something completely not like what we are. Has anyone ever experienced body dysmorphia? I'm just curious. No? Okay.
I haven't heard people, have that kind of feeling about their appearance.
Mhm.
And thing is, and everything, way other people see things and everything, I guess that kind of like, gets them to focus on that, the way they see other people looking.
Mm-hmm.
But, I believe it's not the shape of the person, it's the content of the person.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I agree with that.
Talking about when you feel out of place.
No, it's more like, so I've experienced it a lot in my own life where like in people with anorexia and who experience like disordered eating have that. So like say someone will weigh like 50 pounds, they don't eat, they're experiencing like really unhealthy patterns with food and a relationship with food, and they'll weigh like 50, 60 pounds and they're like skinny as a rail, right? They'll look in the mirror, they don't see that. They see someone that's like really overweight. They see fat. That's what they actually see. They don't see what is actually there in front of them. Some people may be really slender and they look in the mirror and they see like, I'm so muscular. Yeah. And you look at them and you're like, you can't lift the box like that. You know what I mean? So it's a distorted perception of the brain when we look in the mirror and we will see ourselves not as we really are. Hang on. What were you going to say, Ronald? Were you going to share something?
Did Rodney say, when you look at yourself one way, other people looking at you different? Did you say that?
No, I said that we distorted of how we appear to other people.
Oh,
Gotcha.
sorry about that.
It's all good. Thanks for clarifying. Thanks for asking for clarity.
Usually with this dysmorphia thing, it's usually people see themselves like anyway. There's an expression in recovery, like look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful. Well, anyway, there's a writer I like, Augustine Burroughs, and he some of the recovery language can be a little overly positive, and he says like if you look in the mirror and tell yourself you're beautiful and successful, and you are beautiful and successful, it's helpful, if you're just having a down day. But if you're not, what we think of as mirror beautiful, if you're not a pretty person or you're not extremely successful when you look in the mirror and tell yourself, it has the opposite effect because it can bring you, because you're lying to yourself. And it's kind of like a dysmorphia in a way, I think.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to kind of go into that. Jay is here, hello, and says, believe anything you put your mind to. You just have to get up, think positive, keep the good vibe. Right on. Thanks for sharing that. So, thinking about this, just thinking about this idea of the way we see ourselves, and sometimes we see ourselves super distorted, and we don't see ourselves the way we really are. And sometimes we see ourselves and we think we see ourselves how we are.
But do we see ourselves like everybody else?
Right. So like when we look in the mirror and we look at our physical vessel, just this vehicle that we call yourself by name, right? And you look at it and you go, I don't think anything. Does anybody do that? When you look in the mirror, do you just like not think anything?
I don't really think about it, not consciously, when I
Okay,
look in the mirror.
yeah.
I mean, I might be like, my hair needs to be combed. But
Yeah.
I don't really think.
I think that's really common. Like we look in the mirror and it's like, oh, I gotta move my hair, move my teeth, move my collar around. Okay, bye. Is that kind of typical what you all experience when you look in the mirror? Does anyone look in a mirror? Do you look in the mirror? Do you look in the mirror ever?
Like, in my face.
Like,
you got a mirror?
I mean, well, there's
You
a mirror in
got
the
a mirror?
bathroom. So, like, I'm curious. Like, show of hands. Do you ever look in the mirror
Yeah.
for
I think
anything?
It's automatic. I think
Okay.
everybody does.
Okay. How often do you like stop and like look in the mirror? How often, like, do you do that? Do you stop and actually like look at yourself every day?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like when you're
Not
brushing
much.
your teeth. I think most people look in the mirror when they brush their teeth. Like,
Oh, yeah, I
But
don't do
the
it.
so.
secret there was,
Okay.
but
So like brushing teeth. When you're looking at yourself in the mirror when you brush your teeth, are you looking at yourself in the eyes, or are you just like checking yourself, making sure everything's in place?
I'm checking myself, making sure everything's in place.
Okay.
Same here.
Same.
My dad used to say, I got a uniform for everything, because it don't take me too long to get together.
To get ready.
No, it don't. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because
So I'm diving into this. What are you gonna share about?
If I look at myself in the mirror and all I see is the image, is that a bad thing?
No judgment. I don't hold anything in judgment. I don't think it's good
I
or
was just
bad.
curious.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's good or bad. I don't think it's anything. I think it's just seeing something. It's how we feel about it, right? So okay. So when you look in the mirror, so you said you will like look at yourself. Does anyone else actually like look at yourself? You do? Like look at yourself in the eyes?
And I make sure everything is right in my face.
Uh-huh.
Getting up in the morning, especially, you know what I mean. So I check like when I'm brushing my teeth. I'll be like, okay, this is that way. That's no good. This is another way. That looks good.
Okay.
So
Right on. So it's like, let me make sure my eyebrows are doing the thing. And,
right.
if I do this, it looks one way. Okay, I kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to keep that like that today, or put a hat on. Or,
Bear in mind, there's no acting.
You're saying, do you look at your eyes? Do you really? I'm not.
Uh-huh.
I don't really look at my
Yeah,
eyes.
see, I don't do that.
I'm
either.
mostly looking to make sure that there's not a gray hair there. My hair's around my ears. My eyebrows are nice and not bushy. But I don't really look at my eyes per se.
Right.
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Think about
It's
that.
so rare that people actually look at themselves in the mirror without nitpicking, without trying to find what's out of place and how to change it. Now, imagine you're in an intimate relationship, right? You have a partner, you've got a husband, you've got a wife, you've got a bestie, you've got your housemate, you've got your brother, your sister, like somebody that you like just really care about. And the only time they pay attention to you is your hair's in the way. You need to do this with your eyebrows. Oh, you have something here. That's the only time they ever looked at you or acknowledged you. Could you imagine? Eventually that would suck, right? Like that would. Do you agree with that? Do you think that would suck at some point?
Be annoying.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't you want someone to be like, wow, I love the way the light reflects in your eyes. Oh my God. Like, wow, I love when you smile. You do this thing and it's so cute. Oh my God. Like, wow, I didn't realize that your hairline does this thing. And when it does that, it makes me think of when I was a kid. Like, whatever. You want someone to actually look at you and see you and notice the nuances of who you have chosen to be in as a body, right?
That's some thought.
If you're a flower growing out in the yard, if that flower could think, it'd probably be real happy if somebody comes over there and goes, wow, what a beautiful flower. Wow, it smells so good. This is gorgeous. I'm so lucky I get to see it today. It may not be there tomorrow, right?
For some reason, at 2:00 when kids get home from school, and I'm walking down the driveway, for some reason, some of them laugh at me. I wonder why.
Maybe they're just laughing.
Yeah, they like the kids. They love
Yeah.
Like
Kids laugh at me all the time. I laugh with them. I don't care.
I thought because it looked like that, I got a problem.
You brought some.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Who cares?
You brought some interesting things about that. I got a stylist. I get a barber. I go to the barber. And then he fussed my face and stuff like that. He said, "Wait, let me tighten up that beard." He do all these things, right? Because it's like my dad said, I'm uniform. You go to the barber on Sunday, or Saturday, or whatever. Get that deal done. You know what I'm saying? And I got to show up for work, so I put on that uniform, and it don't take me long because the thing is hard for me to think about my appearance when my personality over. Yeah. So come on.
Yeah, I love that. I love you shared that. And I'm gonna visit that in a second.
Mhm.
And I feel like many of us, the most we've been looked at is by a professional to tell us what we need to do differently. Right? You know, you go to the psychologist or psychiatrist, they look at your brain and the patterns in it. You go to the medical doctor, they poke you, they prod you, they take your temperature, they do the thing. Okay, what's wrong here? What's wrong there? Okay, bye. And so you get this moment where you're like, well, somebody just gave a shit about me because they just took some time to look me over to help me feel better, right? Now let me pay them.
Yeah.
You know, and we live in a society, we live in a culture where we have completely forgotten that we are worth looking at, we're worth being seen, and we're all worthy of eyes of adoration. All of us are. And the fun thing about that is that if I can't look at myself in the mirror and be curious, you know, like, whoa, I wonder if I have any gray back here. Let me see. I don't even know. You know, like, I don't even know. And be curious, not judging it, but just curious about my body. Like, if I do this, like, how much does this part of my arm wiggle? You know, like, I don't even know. Whoa, it just costs water to ripple in the oceans with that. I don't know. You know, but like, to be able to spend that time with ourselves, we're not taught to do that. People can barely look at each other in the eyes and have conversations. So if I can't look in a mirror at myself without judgment at all, then I'm not going to be able to look at anyone else in the eyes and have a meaningful, connecting conversation. So then if I want to go do something with that, right? I want to go form a friendship. I want to go get a job. You know, I want a human. I want to go and be a human. If I can't look at someone, they're not going to trust me. Right? It's just a thing. Like if I meet someone and I'm like, hey, you know, you want to go out on a date? And they're like, yeah, totally, sure. Sounds great. I'd love to go out on a date with you. No. Like if they can't look at me, that's okay, no judgment. But to me, that says that they don't want to actually open up their heart, because it takes an open heart to be able to see someone in the eyes. They say that the eyes are the window of the soul, right? So we know that when it comes to others, but when it comes to ourselves, we got to do that first. We have to be able to look at ourselves, because I'll tell you what, you are the only one that knows what you've been through, and you're the only one that knows the shit you've done. You're the only one that knows those deep thoughts that you've had. And only you know how much you love, how much you care, how much you want to be of service. Like only you know that. So why do us the disservice of not seeing that in ourselves? Why not see the human that's been through some major shit? Why not see the human that's risen above, that's worth healing, that's taken their lead in recovery of life? Why not see that person and like honor them and admire them in the mirror? Why not?
Because you was taught to not be stuck on yourself.
Okay, save that. I want to save that. Okay, and then I want to hear what you say.
Just the thing you said about adoration, and the doctors, when you go to the doctors, generally speaking, unless you have a really, really good doctor, which, you know, it's a mixed lot. It's not so much about adoration. It's about, I don't know, critical. You know, a lot of times when you go to the doctors, it's about like what you're doing wrong.
Mhm.
You know, what's wrong with you, not so much what you're doing right and what's right with you. And I just didn't want to make that point.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. That'll pop back in. What were you gonna say? Are you cool?
It was Ron, I think, was gonna say something.
I just saw a hand out of my peripherals.
I thought staring at somebody is bad and unpolite. But when somebody's talking to you, you have to look them in the eye.
You don't know. Well, I would never say anyone has to do anything. And so I'm having this conversation with you and I'm looking you in the eyes, right? It would be weird if I'm talking to you and I'm doing this and I'm just staring at Rodney. But now I'm talking to Ronald right now. That shit's weird,
Sorry about
right? No. I'm saying like that would be weird to do that. I think it's like kind to look at someone in the eyes. To me, it says I'm engaged. I give a shit about what you say.
You're interested.
I'm interested. You know, now if I'm just someone in the room and I'm not talking and I'm just staring at somebody and I'm like giving them this eye of like, that can be a little strange at some points. But if I'm looking at somebody and they see that I'm looking at them, I'm just like, hey, you know, smile, international symbol for hello. Okay, you know, they either smile back or they look away or they're like, hey, what's happening? You know, so it's a whole conversation. It's language. It's the way we communicate with each other. It's through our eyes. And when we don't do that with ourselves, we can't do that fully with another. And like you mentioned, being stuck on yourself. Oh my God. You know, we were told, I don't know if everybody remembers this because I barely do. So it's like way back in the memory bank. So grace is being requested. The story of the narcissist.
Yeah.
And so the story was like this person kept going down to the water's edge and kept looking at themselves, and they were just looking at their reflection. Oh, it's just my reflection. Oh, I'm so beautiful. So much that they fell in and drowned. You know, and the story is to don't be stuck on yourself, right? Don't be a narcissist. Don't be, it's all me and I'm perfect. But it's being able to look at ourselves and be like, oh my God, I love that I'm not perfect and that I am perfect in that. And that we all are, you know? And then we don't become self-absorbed.
Right.
We become self-aware. We become self-loving. If I can love myself and I have self-awareness, then I'm going to love someone else as a friend or a brother or a peer. And I'm going to have an awareness of what their thoughts and feelings are because we start to build our intuition that way. Jay says self-love will get you far and working on inner peace. Hey, we're in the shirt. And also says take a moment every day to appreciate self-worth. So when someone negative is around you, remember your worth and not feel down. That's a great point. If I can look at myself in the mirror, right, and I know the shit I've done, and I've done some pretty fucked up shit.
Yes.
I was.
We're having class, Alan.
He's calling us right. Let's
I know. I just can't focus.
But early in recovery, I thought of myself because I was called narcissist.
No.
And I thought, you know, yeah, I guess I'm a narcissist, sociopath, you know. But this is the thing, is like you were saying, having conversation about me in the room, talking about me in the room, and I'm in the room. So of course I'm gonna speak up for, I'm gonna advocate for myself, but don't be stuck on yourself.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I've always thought it's amusing, you know, because an alcoholic will argue, or in the rings will argue with you about anything. But like the term narcissist and sociopath and psychopath are the most overused terms in the English language.
Thank you.
Unless you are a professional
Right.
and know how to use this, because it's not everybody. If it was everybody, it would have no meaning.
Well, and to take it, has anyone ever gotten a label?
What?
Yeah, really.
What was that?
Have you ever gotten a label?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Someone labeled you as something, right? You are bipolar, you are a sociopath, you are depressed, you have anxiety, you are this, you are that. Like many of us have gotten a label, right? First of all, I like to think a lot of labels are kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's just
They
my
are.
personality. That's just my opinion on that. That being said, whatever labels we've ever gotten, right? You're a sinner, you're a saint, whatever. To be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and still love ourselves unconditionally, knowing what the truth is, knowing that maybe I have done some harm and I have abused some people that other people don't even know about, that nobody could even label me with these things. But if I can still see myself, then I can see others, right? When we do that, when we can see our body, right? Our whole container of this spirit that we are, right? I mean, we extend past the borders of our flesh, but you know what I mean. But if I can look in the mirror and see Jane, like I can just hold her in my vision and just look at her. I'm not going to judge her. I'm not going to try to find what's wrong with her. But if I can just start to look at her, I'm going to start seeing me as a child. I'm going to start seeing me as my elder version of myself. I'm going to start seeing me like you looked at the print in that place, how once you were looking at it long enough, you saw into it deeper. right? You saw more in there than you had seen before. It's the same thing when we look at ourselves, especially if we give ourselves like time to do that. There are mirror meditations. Like you can actually sit in front of a mirror. Hey Linda, how are you? You can
just
actually
came and say your ride is here. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
like that we can do mirror meditations where basically next time you go to the bathroom, if there's not a line behind you, you stop and you like just look at yourself. And maybe you just take a few breaths and you literally just look at yourself and see what comes up. See what thoughts come up. See what the mind tells you. Does the mind say, you're vain, look away? Does the mind say the things that maybe old classmates said, or your parents said, or caregiver said? You know, is your mind gonna be kind? Is your mind gonna say, whoa, you have done so much, thanks for letting me see you? You know, what is being aware of what the mind says when we are looking at ourselves holds the space for us to be in more grace. So then there's that spirit aspect. Because if I can see myself, I know my truth, then my mind is not going to be as judgmental. It's going to be like, yeah, that's you. That's you. That's you. It's all good. And then my energy field, my spirit, my capacity to be in more compassion and understanding starts to expand beyond me. And then I offer it to others.
Hey, can I say something about the label thing you were talking about a minute ago?
Sure. You say
So,
whatever you want. Nope.
outside-
Nope, you can't.
Outside of giving somebody like a label, like you're this and you're that, this thing people do, like when you're talking about something and you think about a point about something and the other person doesn't necessarily agree with what you're saying. Instead, they're like, oh, I used to be like that. And kind of to try to dismiss everything you just said. And it's like, that might be true. But when you say that about everything everybody else says who disagrees with you, and if somebody disagrees with you, the chances are your overall personality doesn't change that much over life. So chances are if you disagree with me now, you would have disagreed me with it younger. So chances are you didn't used to do that. You know, it's just very dismissive. And I noticed people do that a lot too. And it just made me, yeah.
I love that you said that. I used to be like that.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
when I was your
I was
age,
just kidding. I was just playing.
I said the same thing
Yeah.
to him out there.
Yeah. But it's funny because
somebody
think
was
about
doing
this.
it to me earlier.
Oh,
so-
yeah, well, yeah, that happened too.
So think about this too, right? So I love that you mentioned that because it can feel dismissive.
Mhm.
It is
Right?
dismissed, and that's
And
exactly what I said. Now,
Yeah.
The point to that though, because we are just reflections of each other.
Right.
We are, every last one of us. We are reflections of each other, living in our own body, in our own timeline, having our own experiences, but we are all from the same source of energy, whatever you want to call it. The earth, the sun, whatever word, the God, the goddess, the infinite, the void. Give zero shits. We all come from the same, it's all energy. It's all physics, right? So then it's like, okay, so we're all reflections of each other. So if someone is dismissive to me, that means that there's a part of me that I am still dismissive of. Because there is no separation, right? If one is suffering, we're all suffering.
I think all of them haters hate. That's what they do. And the thing is, I've been around this family a long time, and I don't see all these personalities, you know, and you know, you don't never know how a person. My youngest, they call it hustling backwards. You know, I mean, they'll come so far, now they're gonna go backwards on it. You know, but it has been a lot around here.
Yeah, thank you for, hang on one second. Thank you for sharing that. I want to share also what Jay is chiming in. It says, we're all different. Some people are sick in health, maybe in recovery now. Still, that should not stop things. Still love yourself. Everyone may have a problem, and it's better to share love. We all need it. Yep. And when I feel like we got to do that with ourselves first and foremost, right? If I can't look at myself in the mirror, like for real, like for reals, like, then I'm not gonna be able to stand confidently in any space in my life. Because I might be questioning, oh God, is there something in my teeth? Because I barely even looked at myself. But if I look in the mirror and I'm just like, hey, you woke up today. winner. Okay. You know, I don't want to see if I have shit in my teeth or not. But I also know what I look like when I make this face. And also know what I look like when I cry and when I'm mad. So when others are experiencing human emotions, I can witness them in unconditional love. So that dismissiveness doesn't come out of me because I don't dismiss that part of me.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, it ain't a cure. You know.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Just, what the thing you were saying before about being reflections of ourselves. So, it seemed to me what you might be saying is that the person that is being dismissive at the moment by making that statement was probably felt dismissed themselves, and therefore it's a reflection. So they felt like you were being dismissive to them, or their ideas maybe. Is
Not
that where you were going?
necessarily.
Not
No.
necessarily.
So if I am, pick a way of being that sucks to you. That's not dismissive. Pick a way of being that sucks.
Being homeless sucks, I guess. I don't know what you mean a way of being.
No, like, say I'm rude.
Okay, rude.
Okay, I am so rude. Right, I'm rude. So I'm so rude, and I get on your nerves. You hate it. You're like, man, homegirl is so fucking rude. I can't. Right? I just want to like shut her up in the rude department. Right? So the thing about that, so that rude that I am is in you as well in this situation. And it's still triggering, it's still activating your nervous system. If the rude is already healed in you, you're not going to be triggered when I'm rude.
Oh, you'll just accept it as where the person is.
You just see it.
I got you.
It's like when I see someone using, I don't get triggered by it anymore. It deals with compassion because I know the pain I was in when I was using.
It's a good point.
You know, so instead of me feeling judgmental or they're doing this wrong, I love them more because I know where I was when I was like that, when I was, you know, when I was like that. And
Well,
so being able to see ourselves all the time helps that.
Oh, okay.
How about this thought, right? You be exposed.
Yeah, vulnerability. Yeah, vulnerability is the best. It sucks. It's so good. I hate it. I love it. Yeah, the feeling of being exposed, when we're looking at it from like a place of like health and wellness, it's vulnerability. And vulnerability is what gave Superman his powers. What, Alan? What were we going to say?
I almost never look at myself in the mirror. I've been feeling unwell lately, you know, physically, and so I don't look at myself in the mirror. That's, you know, it's kind of avoiding seeing, but I mean, you know, what you're talking about got me to realize that. So I'm thinking maybe I'll deliberately look in the mirror and just find some positive things to say about myself to me. Because I mean, I can find some positive things for sure. Even though right now I'm feeling pretty low on energy and you know, but I think that would be a good idea to look in the mirror. Yeah, I know I need a shave. My hair's a mess. To look in the mirror and start to look back and find some positive things to say.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And what if, right? What if we do that? What if we can see ourselves when we don't feel great? You know, when we just don't feel our best. And what if we can look at ourselves and we don't have to lie to ourselves and say, you feel great today. What if we say, I see how you feel, I feel how you feel, and I still love you. I don't have to look for things. I can love me as I see myself in that now moment.
Warts and all.
Yeah, all of it. I can see myself feeling sick, or I can see myself feeling happy. But if I can say to myself in that mirror that I love me regardless of anything else and because of all of those things, it's medicine. It's neurological medicine. When we can do this in the mirror, it reprograms neural pathways in the brain, and we believe what we say to ourselves. So if we look in the mirror and we go, ugh, then the body, when it gets looked at, goes, I guess ugh is what I am. Could you imagine having a partner with every time they see you, if they went ugh,
It would be my partner.
right? But yet we do this many times, even if we don't do it out loud. You know, we look in the mirror, if we do, and it's, meh.
What if you not only, your personal constant reminder that life sucks, you got other things around you that proves that and they're your constant reminder that life sucks. I mean, but you're still motivated. So it has to be internally a love. I mean, because no matter what, these people relying on you, but you got to do whatever you can do to make sure that these people are right.
Yeah. Kind of thinking about that. Has anyone in here ever felt that life sucked?
What?
Have you ever felt like life sucks? At some point,
Yeah.
right? The funny thing about life itself doesn't suck. Life lives. What is life? Life is living. Life is living itself. Huh?
It's what you make of.
Exactly. Life is happening outside this building right now. We have no clue what's happening outside these walls. We think we do. We have no idea. And we can project all these ideas of like, oh, it sucks out there. Or there's full potential out there. We don't know. But life itself, life is living us. Life is telling our heart to beat. Life is telling our liver to work right now. Life is telling our lungs to breathe in and breathe out. Life is telling us to blink. Life is telling our blood to move through our body. Life is doing miraculous things in every now moment. Life can't suck. It's intelligence in itself. So then when we look in the mirror and we go, holy shit, this is what life looks like. And I get to see life living through me, as me, with me. But that's a choice. We can choose any of that. Yeah.
But you know what? When people lose people, it's like thinking, what I'm around there for. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
There's people like that. And sometimes you have to get back on the good end and say, well, I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm gonna make what's life out of it. I mean, a lot of people think like that.
Mm-hmm.
When a loved one passes and you don't see them no more, and it takes a hold on a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's life. I mean,
Life is,
yeah.
life is death. I mean, life has death in it. And it sure shit sucks. It sucks to witness it. It sucks to be around it. It sucks to watch the dying process.
You know what this reminds me of, us talking about this topic, is that my daughter was having a baby, right? One of my grandkids. This was about 2 years ago. So I walked in by myself because she was already there. I was going to be in the waiting room. So I walk into the waiting room, I get my visitor's pass, and I'm talking to the reception. She said, yeah, we've had a rough day. And I'm excited because I'm getting ready to have a grandbaby. Don't you know, she was telling me that lady came in to give birth and the baby came stillborn.
Mm-hmm.
So that family was in the waiting room, a bunch of them crying and upset. And here I am, kind of excited to have my grandbaby.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a trip, how you just don't, that I could have missed that. What if that had happened 15 minutes earlier and they were gone?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know nothing about it. Things just happen.
Yeah.
You go down the street and you see there's a bad accident, somebody lost their lives, and you're like, an hour later, you went through that same, and there's nothing there that shows that there was an accident, but earlier somebody lost their lives.
Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because to me it just goes to show the preciousness of life.
Mhm.
That it is not like we're eternal nature. Like our energy, our soul, our spirit, whatever word you use, like we are eternal. You can't kill it. You can just change it, right? But our form, the expression of life, right? That's temporary. It's precious. So to be able to like, wow, what if I'm the only one that gets to see me in my precious little bit of time that I'm here on earth?
But if you like, some people in life, it's something they want. It's something they want to achieve, and they can't achieve it. And some people just turn to drugs, and that would make them won't feel anything from what they was trying to achieve and stuff. I mean, I see a lot of that, in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I see
Yeah.
a lot of that.
Yeah. When I was using the most in my life, just substances and shit like that, that was the time in my life that
I
like,
mean, when people use drugs, that what takes away all their problems, and then really they
Stress
wanna,
relief.
yeah, it's like they trying to get back, but that's what makes them numb and level out. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, and that's and that's when we as humans use substances to distract ourselves away from being present with life, because life is messy, life has pain, life has a lot of growth, it has a lot of things to celebrate, it has everything in it, right? It has traumas and it has celebrations, it has all of it, right? But we'll distract ourselves with substances when we can't handle what the life is that we've lived through so far, because most of us have experienced a lot of trauma, neglect, and abuse on some levels, right? And we've not been really given tools on how to navigate these traumas when we're experiencing them, let alone years later when we're trying to heal through that shit, right? So to be able to just acknowledge the preciousness of the life that you are in your individual body, that no one else could ever be, no one else could ever look like you, sound like you, talk like you, have your experiences, see the world the way you do. There will never be another you ever, ever, ever. There's especially no one that's lived through your life and seen what you've seen. So to be able to see you with like, oh my God, I've done this and I've seen this. Wow. Life is precious.
Okay. Oh, this goes back to that earlier class reported, Kim, about survival mode. When you have to push it to strive, because it's not survive, strive to live in this world, on this earth, at this time, at this moment, you gotta make it happen. Or else the struggle comes in and you have to do like that man said, and medicate the anxiety.
There's a whole other third option that ain't nobody picking up on.
But
Surrender, go in the flow.
thank you.
That's the third option. I can either swim upstream or I can, be drugged
Yeah.
through it, or I can just put my feet up and go in the flow. And that's being in the space of surrender. And then knowing that when the time of action needs to happen, then I'm going to be real clear on it because I'm not drugged up.
Anybody
You know?
else?
It's find
Yes.
that middle ground. I want to hear what you had to say.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Okay, I'll be
Well,
right now.
time in people's life, you got to make the best of it, but you can't give up. I mean, you can't, say, well, I mean, I done did all I could, and so I'm just gonna, let this go. I mean, if it's something you want to achieve, you got to try hard at. I mean, like, trouble is always gonna fall with you. That's life. I mean, you gonna have trouble all your life. Cause if you don't have trouble, then what do you got? You ain't got nothing.
Life is full of all of it. Enjoy your day.
No, it's waiting. I'm gonna text you
Okay.
later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Ronald?
Since life is like a chess game, does chess ever come to an end?
They were like, that's what we call
Nope,
it. not
just
chess.
different
They
games.
were like,
It's different games, different players, moving the pieces around, start over, you do it again.
it's a game of life.
Yep. And
Like
so
checkers
and
is just
imagine
wrong.
that, right? You know, like if life is a game, right? So life is a game. If life is this game, wouldn't you want to see what player piece you are? Like if I'm the knight, the rook, the queen, the pawn, the I don't know the other pieces. But like I kind of want to like how cool would it be to see that? Like how cool would it be if you were like I don't know like a hippopotamus, right? And somebody put a mirror in front of you and you're like, what? This is what I look like? Could you imagine? You know? Or if you were a cardinal and someone put a mirror in front of you, you'd be like, I am this bright red. Holy shit. I'm like that card that dude keeps talking about. You know? Like we get this opportunity to actually see ourselves. And to work through that and to experience that. Like we get an opportunity to do it. So my invitation as we close is over the next few weeks, look at yourself. And if you notice thoughts of judgment or feelings of judgment come up, acknowledge them. You say, oh, okay, I was just judging myself. That's not me. I'm not actually made to judge anything. So that's just what my parents used to say, or that's what my boss would tell me. Those aren't my truths. So the invitation is to like your human homework is to just like look at yourself as often as you can, see yourself, see what you look like when you make faces. You know, see what you look like. If you're feeling a lot of anger one day, check yourself out in the mirror. Just see what you look like and see if you can just look at you. If you're feeling really sad and grief is moving through you, go check yourself out and look in the mirror. See what grief looks like. You know, if you're really happy, you're like, wow, I feel so good right now. Go look at yourself in the mirror. See what that looks like. Like, let that be seen.
They got all these emojis.
Right. Right. So like that. So on that note, so we'll hopefully just check yourselves out more, you know, and just see if you can see you a little bit more. And then I'll be here on Thursday at 10 a.m. for spiritual goodness. It's called Expansions. I'd love to have y'all here with me. It'll be my last day here for a little bit. So we all be here, hang out. Thursday at 10.
How long you gonna be gone?
17 days.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So if you can't pair a pair of shoes, maybe a thin leather bag.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. As soon as you deposit that in my Venmo, I'd be really happy to do that. And thank you all online for joining. I appreciate your all's presence and what you're chiming in and adding to the group. I appreciate it. And I will see you all Thursday.